Hi guys, I'm Ankit. Welcome to our YouTube channel EdPunk. Today, we are going to discuss the CBSE Computer Science Class 12 Term 1 sample question paper in detail. The whole series will be divided into 6 parts. In each part, we will discuss each and every question in detail, starting with part 1, where we will cover the question numbers 1 to 12 of section A. In part 2 of the video, we will cover section A questions 13 to 25. In part 3, we will cover section B questions 26 to 37. In part 4, we will cover questions 38 to 49. The case study questions will be covered in part 5 video. And finally, in part 6 video, we will do a detailed analysis of the sample question paper and learn some tips and figure out a good strategy to tackle the actual exam. Now, before we begin the discussion, make sure you have downloaded the EdPunk app from the Google Play Store or the link provided below to make the most out of this discussion. As for each and every question, I will also tell you the corresponding video available in app where you can learn more about the concept in detail. All materials like notes, videos, NCERT solutions, practice tests are available for free on the app. So don't miss out this opportunity and make the most out of the high quality content available in the EdPunk app. So now, without wasting any further time, let us start with the first question. The first question is to find the invalid identifier from the following. Option A is none, option B is address, option C is name, and option D is pass. Now this question is based on the concept of tokens, which is very well explained in the token video in the app. The option A none is to confuse you with the non literal, but note N in the non literal is in uppercase, whereas here it is in lowercase. So this none is a valid identifier. Similarly, option B address and option C name are also valid. There are 35 keywords in Python and pass is actually a keyword and it is used in the jump statement. So option D pass is an invalid identifier because it is a keyword. Moving on to question 2. Consider a declaration L equal to round brackets 1 comma python comma 3.14. Which of the following represents the data type of L? Option A is list, option B is tuple, option C is dictionary, and option D is string. Now the name of the variable used is L, which is to confuse you into thinking that the answer might be a list, as L is very commonly used to assign a list. But you have to remember how each and every data type is created. So list is actually enclosed within square brackets. To create a tuple, round brackets or parenthesis is used. Similarly, for dictionary, curly braces are used, and for a string, double or single quotes is used. So in this case, as L equal to parenthesis 1 comma python comma 3.14 is provided, it is actually used to create a tuple, and the data type of L is actually tuple, which is option B. So let us move on to the next question, which is given a tuple tup1 equal to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 till 90. What will be the output of print of tup3 colon 7 colon 2? So the options we have are a tuple with items 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Option B, a tuple with items 40, 50, 60 and 70. Option C, a list with items 40 and 60, and option D is a tuple with items 40 and 60. So this question is based on the concept of slicing, which is actually a tuple operation. So in this case, since we are using the slicing operation on a tuple, it will always return another tuple. So option C, which is a list 40, 60, is not correct because it is a list and the answer we are looking for is actually a tuple. Now, coming to the operation slicing, so the start index n is actually 3 and the m is 7. So the ending tuple will be of index 6. So the valid range of index for tuple is index 3 to index 6, which are the items 40, 50, 60 and 70. Now, since we have the step size as 2, so after accessing the first item of the start index, that is 3, we are taking a jump of index 2. So the next index will be index 5. So after the item 40, the next item will be item 60. Post which, if we take the jump of 2, then the index will be 7. But that is not a valid range, since the valid range is index 3 to index 6. Hence, the answer is option D, which is 40 and 60. Moving on to the next question, question 4. Which of the following option is not correct? Option A. If we try to read a text file that does not exist, an error occurs. Option B. If we try to read a text file that does not exist, the file gets created. Option C. If we try to write on a text file that does not exist and no error occurs. And option D. If we try to write on a text file that does not exist, the file gets created. So this question is based on the concept of file handling, which is opening and closing files. And you can find that video on the Edpunk app, which explains it very well in detail. So let us go through each and every options right now. So let us start with the first option. That is, if we try to read a text file which does not exist, an error occurs. This option is correct because when we open a file in read mode and if it does not exist, then the Python interpreter throws an error. Moving on to the next option. If we try to read a text file that does not exist, the file gets created. This option is incorrect because when we try to read a text file and if it does not exist, then the Python interpreter throws an error. A file never gets created when it is opened in read mode. So this option B is incorrect. Let us also look at the C and D options. If we try to write on a text file that does not exist, no error occurs. And option D, if we try to read on a text file that does not exist, the file gets created. Both the options C and D are correct. Because if we try to write a text file which does not exist, the Python interpreter goes ahead and creates the file and it does not throw any error. Hence, both options C and D are correct and the only incorrect option is option B. Moving on to the next question. Which of the following options can be used to read the first line of the text file myfile.txt? Option A is myfile equal to open myfile.txt, myfile.read. Option B is myfile equal to open myfile.txt in read mode, then myfile.read n. Option C is myfile equal to open myfile.txt followed by myfile.readline, and option D is myfile equal to open myfile.txt followed by myfile.readlines. So this question is actually based on the concept of file reading and it is very well explained in the file reading video on the Edpunk app. So do make sure to go through the concept of file reading in detail in the video. So when we are reading a file, the method which is useful for returning the first line in the text file is readLine method. So when we call the readLine method again and again, it reads one line at a time. So hence, in this case, option C, where we are doing myfile.readLine, is the correct answer. Now moving on to the next question. Question 6 is assume that the position of the file pointer is at the beginning of the third line in a text file. Which of the following option can be used to read all the remaining lines? Option A is myfile.read. Option B is myfile.readN. Option C is myfile.readline. And option D is myfile.readlines. Option A will read all the lines or content which is remaining in the file and return it as a string. Option B, readN is used when number of bytes remaining till we reach the end of the file is provided. But in this case, you don't know the number of remaining bytes in the file. So this option is incorrect. Option C, which is myfile.readline, will read only one line from the position of the pointer. So it will return only the third line and not all the remaining lines. So again, this is incorrect. So moving on to the next option, which is option D, myfile.readlines. In this case, myfile.readlines reads all the remaining lines as mentioned in the question, where we have to read all the remaining lines, and it returns it in the form of a list of string where each string is each individual line of the file. So this is the correct answer. So option D, which is myfile.readlines, is correct. Moving on to the next question. A text file student.txt is stored in the storage device. Identify the correct option out of the following options to open the file in read mode. So there are 4 statements. The first statement is myfile equal to open student.txt in read and binary mode. The second statement is myfile equal to open student.txt in write mode. The third statement is myfile equal to open student.txt in read mode. And the fourth and final statement is myfile equal to open student.txt. So in this case, it is mentioned that the student.txt file is actually a text file. So statement 1 is not correct because it is opening the file in binary mode, whereas we want to open the file in text mode. So the statement 1 is not correct. It will throw an error. The statement 2 opens the file in write mode, whereas in the question it is asked that we should open the file in read mode. So again, the statement 2 is incorrect. In statement 3, we are opening the file in read mode. So this statement is correct. And in statement 4, we have not mentioned any mode. So you have to remember that by default, the open function opens a text file in read mode. So again, this statement is also correct. So if we look at the 4 options, we can see that option C, that is both statements 3 and 4, is actually the correct answer because both the statements will execute and open the file in read mode. Moving on to the next question, which is the return type of input function is A, string, B, integer, C, list, or D, tuple. So this is a straightforward question, and if you have gone through the input video, you know that the input function always returns a string. So option A is the correct answer, which is string. So moving on to the next question, which is question 9. Which of the following operator cannot be used with string data type? Option A is plus, option B is in, option C is multiplication, and option D is division. Now to answer this question, you don't even have to read the material or watch any video. If you just look at the thumbnail of string operations video, you will see that plus, in, and multiplication are present there. and the only operation that is not permitted is division. So the correct answer is option D, which is division. Let us now go through the next question, which is question 10. Consider a tuple TUP1 equal to items 10, 15, 25. There is a printing mistake, so omit and the next item is 30. Identify the statement that will result in an error. Option A is print of TUP1 of 2. Option B is TUP1 of 2 equal to 20. Option C is print min of TUP1. And option D is print len of TUP1. So this question actually tests the various concepts of tuple, and you can check out some of the videos which discuss these concepts in detail. So we have the concept of accessing a tuple item, assigning a tuple item, and built-in functions for a tuple. So the first option accesses and prints the item at index 2, which will execute without any error. Now, in option B, we are trying to assign 20 to the item at index 2. Tuples are immutable, so this will throw an error because once you have created a tuple, you cannot modify it. So this option is the correct option as it will result in an error. Whereas in option C and D, we are trying to use the built-in functions min and len, which accept a tuple. These functions are valid functions and they will return the minimum value in the tuple and the length of the tuple respectively. And they will execute without any error. So the correct answer is option B, where we are trying to modify a tuple. Moving on to the next question, which is question 11. Which of the following statement is incorrect in the context of binary files? Option A is information is stored in the same format in which it is held in the memory. Option B is no character translation takes place. Option C is every line ends with a new line character. And option D is the pickle module is used for reading and writing files. Now, if we go through the options, option C is actually incorrect as the line ends with a new line character, which is an ASCII character in a text file. In binary files, information is stored in the form of bytes. So, the correct answer is option C, which is every line ends with a new line character, which does not happen in a binary file. Moving on to the next question, which is question 12. What is the significance of the tell method? Option A is it tells the path of the file. Option B, it tells the current position of the file pointer within the file. Option C, it tells the end position within the file. And option D, it checks the existence of the file at the desired location. Again, this question is from file handling, and seek and tell are two methods which are useful for ad hoc movement of file pointer within the file, where seek is used to move the pointer and tell is used for fetching the current location of the pointer. So the correct answer in this case is option B, because the tell method tells the current position of the file pointer in the file. With this, we have come to an end of the first part of the video. In case you have any doubts, make sure you comment below and make sure to subscribe this channel to receive updates on future videos. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and stay updated on various other activities that we are planning ahead before the board exam. See you in the next video.